back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Pokemon Blue, my complete Pokedex journey. So in my last episode, we got our 4th badge from the Grass Gym here in Celadon City. We leveled up our Vulpix quite a bit more, up to level 29, matching him with our Jolteon. And we also took out the gym leader to get our 4th badge, as well as a TM, which was Mega Drain. So in this episode, we're actually going to explore the rest of Celadon City. I'm going to show off pretty much all the amenities that exist in this little town. And then in my next episode, we're going to take on the next dungeon, which is also located here in Celadon City. And we'll learn more about that particular place in this particular episode, as we talk to a few particular characters. So we have 35 out of the 80 we've seen, of the 151 that are in the game. So we're going to head into the Pokemon Center first, and we're going to talk to a few of the people here. So they note that if you have a bike, you can use the cycling road. Well, we actually cannot do that yet because there is a large Pokemon that is in the way. And we need to find the Pokeflute in order to wake up that Pokemon with a sound that only Pokemon can hear. Except people can hear it too, at least in this game, because when you play it, we'll be able to hear it too. At least I can hear it, so I guess I'm either a Pokemon or it's audible to everybody. Now, in a previous episode, I did head to the back area here and headed into the Celadon Mansion, as it's called, the back entrance. Went all the way to the top and talked to the person there, and you actually could get an Eevee as well. So we did that in a previous episode, and I evolved that particular Eevee into my Jolteon. And in this episode, we're going to be heading into the front of the Celadon Mansion and checking it out. Now here we have a Poliwrath, making frog sounds, which is a bit weird. And here is the Celadon Mansion. So starting in Gen 1, as we note the back entrance there to the mansion, which you can use to get an Eevee. The creators of this game actually put themselves, or at least a few of themselves, into the game. This became pretty much a running thing in most of the games in the future versions of this series. And so you're going to find programmers, artists, the director, so on and so forth. You're going to find a sculpture of a Diglett here, which doesn't really look like a Diglett to me. I guess a little bit. And then you're also going to find some other people that you can talk to, and they're going to talk about little aspects of the game. And one of them will typically say, hey, you should come back and talk to me later after you've done something. Either beaten the Elite Four, or completed your Pokedex, or seen all the Pokemon in the area, so on and so forth. So that trend actually started in this generation. And this is just a normal PC. And these shelves do not have anything unique on them, they're just cram full of Pokemon books. So when you complete your Pokedex in this generation, you get all 150 Pokemon. You don't need to get Mew. You can come up here and talk to the director of the game, and he will give you a certificate that commemorates you completing the Pokedex and becoming a Pokemon Master. So last spring when I did that on both Red and Blue, I played through both Red and Blue in a parallel playthrough, and I got 151 on both games. And it took me, I think, about 60 hours total, about 30 hours on each different game cart, trading back and forth to get all 151 on each game. So here is the game designer, and he is going to note, hey, filling up your Pokedex is tough, but don't give up. When you're done, come and talk to me. And then he will give you that particular little graphic commemorating it. Now we're going to head on out. So the rest of the area here is a few more buildings. Celadon is noted as the City of Rainbow Dreams. Too bad we can't see that in a Game Boy game. We can surf across this water to talk to that old man later once we actually get surf. And he actually has a TM for us that can only be given to one particular Pokemon who can use the move. And this man notes that you can actually win prizes here at the Rocket Game Corner, which will be our final destination in this episode, and also where we start in my next episode. And this building next to it is where you can actually exchange coins for prizes, some of them somewhat important, especially if you're trying to get all 151. And then this sign lets you note that there are battle items you can use, such as Guard Spec, that'll help you in battle. They're pretty powerful. I don't actually use them very often, but they are essential for certain things such as speedruns. Now there is a tree over here beyond these houses with no doors that we can cut our way through. And there doesn't seem to be anything over here, but if you head all the way to the north here on this little path, you will find a PP up. So that'll actually increase the number of uses of a particular move that you can have one of your Pokemon use. So typically you're going to want to use that on a move that has very low PP, such as Fire Blast, or I like to use it on something like Psychic or Ice Beam. Because although those moves have 10 uses, I like to get a few more out of them for the Pokemon that have them. And this is a restaurant. I note that the Rockets have a hideout under the game corner. And this guy notes that a man over at the table has lost it all in slots. Well, maybe we should talk to him and see what he has to say. Unfortunately, they do not have anything to serve us. I think in Generation 2, if you come back here, they're having an eating contest in here. So everyone's mowing down on things like, I don't know, hot dogs. But this is the man who has lost it all. He's flat out busted. We're not gonna laugh at you. That's not very nice. But he's gonna give up his gambling ways, and he notes that he doesn't need this anymore, which is the coin case. So now we can actually collect our own coins at the Rocket Game Corner, which is good, because we need those coins. In particular, we needed to get one Pokemon. Now all the other Pokemon are pretty easily obtainable throughout the rest of the game, as we have some Rocket members here talking about their success here, gambling, and using their game corner to essentially frisk people of all their money, because they reel in the dough. But we want to get a Porygon, and a Porygon is actually cheapest here in the blue version of the game. So it costs 6,500 coins. If you try to get it in red, it actually costs 9,999 coins. So we'll be doing it here in blue. Here we have a girlfriend on vacation with her brother and her boyfriend. That's interesting. And apparently this is a hotel for people without any rooms. Now maybe one of those other buildings without a door, that is the actual hotel rooms. I don't know. But here's the boyfriend saying, why did she bring her brother? And being a hotel, of course, there is a PC. Although we can't see it. It's invisible. Interesting. So now we're going to head on over to the Celadon department store, and I'll show off what's in there. So here we are at the department store. Let's talk to these two people just to the south. And they're going to note that they don't like the game corner because it is a bad reputation piece for Celadon. And this little girl with her pigtails notes that she got a coughing in Cinnabar on Cinnabar Island, but he spews poison when he's angry. So we have previously come into the department store. We had to get a Thunderstone in order to evolve our Eevee into a Jolteon. And then we also went up to the roof to get a beverage for the guards to allow us to access Saffron City. And we also exchanged 3 of the beverages to the little girl on the roof in order to get 3 TMs. But there's a lot of stuff you can actually buy in this department store as well. So they sell a lot of TMs. A lot of these aren't really that useful. You can get Double Team here, which is pretty good. But a lot of the moves are things such as Takedown or Submission. I've never been a fan of those moves simply because I don't like taking the recoil damage. But you can also get things such as your basic needs. Your ailment reducers that get rid of things such as poison or paralysis, and then of course Great Balls, and tons of Pokemon stuff as well. Now the other reason to come in here is that you can actually get a couple of items. So if you talk to this guy, you'll note that he finally finished Pokemon, whatever that means. I guess he completed his Pokedex. He didn't become the champion because he's not at the Elite Four, but he does give us a TM, which is TM18, also known as Counter. I don't use that. It is an interesting ability. You take physical damage and you give it back to the opponent. Those are strategies I tend to not use in most Pokemon games. These trainers are going to note things about IDs, that when you trade a Pokemon, it keeps its ID from the original trainer, that every game has a different trainer ID assigned to the person who's playing it. And when you start a new game, that trainer ID gets changed. And these two note that sometimes when you trade Pokemon, they actually evolve. There are 4 particular Pokemon that evolve by trading only. And they are the Geodude line, the Abra line, the Machop line, and also the Gastly line. And they have a bunch of SNESs here with puzzle games. Now this was pre-Pokemon puzzle games, so maybe it's something as simple as Tetris, the greatest puzzle game ever made. And this person notes that he's getting a Pokédoll, which is interesting. It's another item I tend to not really use in this game. And here you have your stones for evolving Pokemon. Again, some Pokemon evolve through using stones on them. And then you can also buy Pokédolls if you wish, which allow you to escape from wild Pokemon encounters, or, you could just run from them. But I guess if you have a very slow Pokemon in the lead position, you can use a Pokédoll to bypass that speed discrepancy. So you distract the wild Pokemon with a Pokédoll, which, costs 1,000 money, so not sure that's the best idea. Just put a fast Pokemon in the lead. And this floor is actually pretty important. You can buy enhancers here, which permanently increase your Pokemon stats. Now the ones that are of most interest to me are Carbos, which increases speed. So I tend to use quite a bit of those on my different Pokemon just to make sure that they're going to hit first. But sometimes if I'm using a Pokemon that's already pretty fast, I will also use Calcium, which will increase their special attack. I don't tend to use Protein or Iron very often, unless it's a pure physical attacker, like Diglett, I suppose. I could use Proteins on it, and that would work out pretty well. Now the other guy over here is going to note what Protein and Iron do. These are the single-use in-battle items that you can use as well. And those can be helpful for things such as if you want to use instant KO abilities, which have pretty low accuracy. You can use an item to increase your accuracy in that battle, and then those will almost always hit, which again is a strategy typically used in speedruns. But we've already done the roof here, so now I'm going to head down to the bottom again. So the last thing to check out in this town is the Rocket Game Corner. So this is the exchange booth, where you can exchange coins for prizes. The 2 booths on the left, the far left and the middle booth, are going to allow you to exchange for Pokemon. Again, you can catch most of these Pokemon fairly easily out in the wild. The one exception is the Abra. I did trade my Abra over from Red after purchasing Abra here in Celadon. And then the one we are most interested in is Porygon. That's going to require quite a bit of grinding of coins in order to get. Now the right window here has 3 TMs. They are Dragon Rage, Hyper Beam, and also Substitute. Pretty interesting abilities. I don't tend to use really any of them, but they are there if you want to get them and actually grind the coins out. So in the game corner you have quite a few people hanging out here at the slots. If you talk to most of them, they'll actually give you coins, so you can start off with a little bit. And then interestingly, there are a lot of hidden coins scattered around on the ground. There's like, I don't know, roughly 200 or 250 coins just on the ground on random spots. So if you just kind of walk up and down, you will find coins. Now this is the big group here, 100 coins. The rest of the clumps are going to be about 10 to 20 coins each. Now we're going to ignore that guy up there until my next episode, because that's going to start the underground rocket hideout, which is our next destination, the next dungeon we have to take on with our Pokemon. This was the guy who stands at the front of the gym and tells you about the gym. I showed him off in the last episode. And again, you have to come into the game corner before you take on Erica in order to get his advice. And the rest of them are just going to talk a little bit about the machines and kind of the odds and so on and so forth. I'll show off the machines at the beginning of my next episode too. But the remainder of this episode is going to be collecting these last coins from these people. And then also I'll try to show off all of the locations of the coins on the ground. I might know where they all are. You basically just have to kind of walk along the floor in both directions and press the action button on every tile. And especially if you go behind the players, so the middle rows there, they will actually be the places that typically the coins are going to be. But again, if you don't want to do that, that's fine as well, because you're only going to be getting about 10 to 20 coins per drop. Although there are about 8 to 9 places you can pick them up that I haven't shown yet. I think there's about 11 or 12 in total. And you can also purchase coins if you want to, if you don't want to play the games. And that might be an option, we'll see, depending on how I spend my money in this game. If I don't go crazy on enhancers like buying Carbos for all my Pokemon, maybe we'll just buy coins to not have to use the machines and grind those out. That might be helpful. But we're going to pick up all these coins, and that'll be the end of our episode here. But let's just do our little walk. Can't believe people just drop these coins on the ground, showing how valuable they actually are. Team Rocket. But it does also show kind of that Team Rocket is really not that inept. They are making quite a bit of money here, and they are extorting these people for a lot of money using Pokemon. So you think about some of the later generation teams that are the antagonists, and they don't really accomplish that much, but in this generation, Team Rocket is actually doing some stuff. So the leader of Team Rocket actually kind of knows what he's doing. Now you can ignore, of course, Jesse and James of Team Rocket. The rest of the organization is actually somewhat legit. So in my next episode, we will take on the Rocket Hideout below the Celadon Game Corner, and we'll see what that has to offer us. So as always, viewers, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all next time. So long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.